Well, hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Grizzly Bear Sims YouTube channel, and welcome back to Lawfolds. This is Lawfolds number 60, the big 60. If this series were a person, we might be looking at retirement in a couple of years, and actually that is exactly what is going to be happening in just another episode or two, basically two more episodes. So this episode is episode number 60. I do plan to wrap this series up in episode number 61, which you guys will see next week. Episode 61, you guys will see that on Tuesday, and that is Tuesday after Memorial Day. So Memorial Day is basically Monday. I'm looking at my spreadsheet here while I'm trying to drive, not doing a very good job, but Monday the 29th is Memorial Day here in the US of A. You'll be watching Lone Star episode number 14, I believe, on that day, and then you will see episode number 61 of Lawfolds the very next day. Now, don't worry, we've got a new series, a new map that is going to debut on June the 1st. And I will certainly let you all know what that's going to be here in just a moment, or I'll tell you a little bit more about that here in just a moment. Let's go ahead and set up our course here to go ahead and seed this, as I have basically been saying. So let's see, southwest to north. We'll give ourselves a couple of headlands and we'll do those last, and let's just take a look at that course and make sure it's okay, and I believe that it is. And we will just head our tractor right on over here to our start point and get this guy going. Thanks for coming in for another episode. I really do appreciate you guys joining my channel here. Welcome all of our new subscribers. We've had a good growth, good spike of growth here in the last few days, and I'm very appreciative of all of you for doing that. So we're just basically going to cut across the field here, just sort of jog out here just a moment. And so Lawfolds will be coming to an end after 61 episodes. I feel that, well, it is probably time to put this dear friend to bed and set it aside, at least for now. I'm not gonna delete the game save. I'll leave the game save in there. It's possible that we might revisit this map, especially if we get to a point where we don't have anything better to do. But I tell you what, with all the great maps that are coming out from all the wonderful modders out there, I have a feeling that there will be plenty to keep us busy with, and especially hopefully I can hurdle this chain link fence here without too much problem. And look at there, just did just fine. So let's go ahead, and we've got multiple different things going on today. Obviously we're seeding oilseed radish over in the field that's right next to us. We've got a hired worker helping us out. We've also got another hired worker that we've brought in to run our combine. We have managed to be able to get all of our work done without having to lease any additional equipment. If you guys tuned into the live stream that I had last Thursday evening, I believe that was around the 18th or so of May, I appreciate you guys. We had a nice active live stream. Had some of the old favorites stop by, like Rubber Burner Gaming, and Farmer Klein, Doughboy2913 stopped by to say hello, and as well as some new friends as well. And I'm very appreciative to all of you who stopped by to say hello, to just stop in and watch and contribute to the live stream, and basically make things where, well, they aren't just so boring for me. So we're going to well, what we're going to do here is I'm going to drop this trailer, because we basically need this this tractor for now. We're going to go and like I said, we are sort of multitasking right now. So we're going to go ahead and head over, head down to our, I think we can get there this way. Never have done it this way, but I think we can do it. Going to head down to our dairy farm, and we're going to top our animals up with some total mix rations and maybe we can do that and get back before our harvester needs to be emptied. But I do need the large tractor since we upgraded our mixing wagon to the big large jobby there that we used once on Stevie's edit of Goldcrest Valley. And of course we're using this large one on Lone Star as well. Just makes it easier. You know, I had covered a lot of the animal feeding and stuff on camera in the early stages of both seasons, both years for Lawfolds, and it was just really getting to be a little bit harder for me to try to manage it with the smaller one doing the off-camera stuff. It was just obviously taking a lot longer, and so that's why I upgraded it to this very, very nice one here. I can't think of the name of it just off the top of my head, but anyway, we'll back up here and grab a hold of this guy, and as I said, maybe we can get this done and get back before our combine needs to be emptied. But you know, we might not either, so just depends. Alright, so we'll go ahead and pull this guy into place here and go ahead and set our parking brake, and we'll turn him on and get out and run over here to our telehandler, our little trusty telehandler. Boy, I really love this this particular model. Alright. So the new series. So the new series is basically going to start on June the 1st. I'm not going to tell you what the map is. Oops, wrong button, or wrong way to move the joystick. I do have my joystick reconnected because, well, with the new series, we're going to be doing a little bit of timber work to kind of start the series off because, well, we need to clear out some stuff. And as a result, well, we're going to have to do a little bit of timber work, and so I've got my joystick set up. Hopefully that will make things a little bit easier for us. And so our mixture that we're going to go with this is going to be 4 bales of straw and 4 bales of silage, or maybe it looks like ivory soap there, and then 8 bales of hay, since we've got a whole bunch of hay right, that looks good. We'll get some hay from this side of the barn over here. We've got more than enough, I believe, to get us through the winter and into spring. So basically what I've decided to do, I know I talked about maybe extending Lawfolds, and we would work at least an episode through the winter, and then basically an episode in the spring coming out of winter, just to kind of show that everything that we basically did all that we needed to do to make spring happen. I've decided against that just simply because I feel like that, well, June 1st is a good stopping off point, or actually maybe I should say May 31st, you know, is a good stopping off point for a map. Although I think the last episode you're going to see of this is going to be on Tuesday the 30th. But anyway, starting a new series, starting a new map on the 1st of the month is going to be a good thing for us, I think. I really think that this episode, or this series has gone a little bit too long, maybe. I don't know. I know that there's a lot of people that are enjoying this series, and you still enjoy this series, and I know that, you know, maybe some of you are genuine about that. Some of you maybe are just being nice. But anyway, I think 61 episodes, I think that is more than enough. And so we'll shut the PTO off just so that we get a little bit more power to the tractor, because, well, that's what we need right now to move this heavy beast. This is quite a large mixing wagon, but as you can tell, it really It really does wonders as far as when you have as many cows as we have on this map. I'm not sure what our head count is right now, but we do have quite a few. So we'll go ahead and dump this in. And let me just pull up our farm, our land map here. As you can tell, we've got all of our work done that we needed to do. Field number 26 is the last field that's available to harvest today. Of course, field number 30, right over here, this is our test field. It should be ready to go for tomorrow, but I'm thinking that based on the weather forecast there, we've got snow coming, and I don't know if it's going to come overnight or if it's basically going to come in the daytime hours. But if we can harvest it, then basically I will harvest it, and I will most likely harvest that off camera. And then of course what I'm going to do as far as episode 61 is concerned, and I'm just going to basically park this right here for now and get out, and we will disconnect our PTO with the Z key, and then go ahead and disconnect this and climb back in our tractor. And yep, I'm always got my foot on the gas or on the brake, and it makes it beep. So anyway, we'll go back around this way, a little bit shorter to get back. Hopefully we can get back before the combine stops. And he is at looking like 73%, so should be okay there. And as long as he's on the correct side of things, where we can get it without ruining any crops or having to stop the combine. But we've had good harvest. I mean, we've had a good harvest. This field here has yielded already one full tipper out of it, and then we're almost, I think we're almost full with that tipper trailer, although I can't remember, to be quite honest with you. I've been harvesting like a madman the last today. Basically, this is Saturday, the 20th of May, as I'm recording this episode. I am still working a bit ahead. I've got a little bit of work to do to set the next map up, to get the storyline and everything going kind of the way that I want it. And for those of you that have been asking for, wanting maybe a little bit more of a storyline to go with things, I am going to basically try to do that. Try to incorporate more of a sort of a first-person storyline, and kind of set the stage and let you all know how things are progressing and what we're doing, and why we're doing that. Sort of in a role play fashion was the word that I was actually looking for. And so looking forward to that. So I'll just give you a hint. It is a relatively small map. It is a map that we're going to be obviously putting our own sort of storyline and our own way of doing things. You know, as I have said before, there is absolutely no right way or wrong way to play this game. You can come in if you want to and play it as a starving farmer, as a play it in career mode, where basically you start off with exactly what the map modder created, what his or her idea was for the map, and that is certainly a wonderful way to play this game. And I would encourage you to do that at least once, at least work through that once. You know, I did it in the very early stages of Farm Sim 15 simply because I didn't know any better. I really didn't know that we had the ability to mix in mods and such as that, and what all that meant, and map mods and vehicle mods and stuff. And so I basically started on West Bridge Hills with Farm Sim 15 and working through and using the equipment that, you know, Giants had placed on that map, and doing everything that I needed to do. And of course, you know, back then silage was the cash crop. That was the crop that would make you a millionaire. That and basically timber work. And of course, I wasn't very good at doing timber in the early stages of Farm Sim 15, and really, who am I lying to? I'm still not that great with it. But with my joystick and with using some of the right equipment, we can certainly get in there and make fast use of getting some trees down and getting them loaded up onto trailers and that sort of stuff. So that's kind of what that's how the new series is going to start off. I don't really want to let too much out of the bag, but I will just tell you that it's going to start off with the storyline is basically going to basically cause us to need to get familiar with our logging, with our interlogging skills. Wrong button. And basically need to get started doing some stuff like that. Now, I've already sort of recorded episode 0, and episode 0 is just kind of to set the storyline, set the stage on what's going on, why we're doing the things that we're doing, and all that good stuff. I'm going to go ahead and shut this gate here because, well, we are done with that field. So yeah, so our plan of basically turning all these fields back around and putting oilseed radish on them for fertilization purposes for the next owners is all coming into plan. We still hold the more or less the deed, or at least the lease of the small field over there next to the dairy that we leased this year. We still have that lease in place, and we still have the lease up in the north portion of the map next to the BGA that we planted corn for chaff. We still hold those leases, and we'll be turning those in here momentarily with the Bank of Hagenstad and getting all that settled. And the buyers and everything are already in place for Lawfolds. They're very much interested in this map. As a matter of fact, they're coming in and they are planning on basically harvesting or growing crops on the same fields that we've been growing on, and I think they actually plan to purchase a few new fields. So they're coming in with a rather large purse, and that makes us happy. They have elected to, or they have purchased all of the equipment that we currently have in place, and so all of that will basically stay with them, and they will take ownership of that and probably bring in some additional equipment. I think based on the number of fields that they're planning on working, I have a feeling that they most likely are going to be bringing in another combine, which is what our plan B was if we got into a situation with weather. But you know, the weather has been very cooperative for us today. Actually, it's just below 60 degrees, and this is actually very nice working weather for us, and so I'm very, very fortunate to have the opportunity to do a little bit of work outside in weather like this. And so it certainly beats the last couple of days of weather that we've had here locally in Denver, Colorado, where I live. We've actually had snow. It started snowing on Wednesday night. I think that was somewhere like in the neighborhood of the 17th or so of May. So even after the mid-May point, after Mother's Day, that whole kind of thing, usually we don't have this kind of weather in a sort of a post-Mother's Day season, but we did. We ended up getting probably 3 or 4 inches of snow on Thursday, and of course that was kind of knocked down with the rain because we did have, it was sort of an off and on rain-snow mix, but it did rain for about 48 hours, or it's rain-snow mix for about 48 hours or so, and just very overcast, very gloomy, very gray skies, cloudy, just really sort of, after all the mild and very nice weather that we've been experiencing, and the fact that I myself have been out exercising in the mornings, walking, doing my 4.5, 5 miles or so in the mornings, and then even walking to work. I live about a half mile from my office, and I actually have been walking to work a couple of mornings, but of course I did not do that on Wednesday because the storms, it was supposed to start raining Wednesday afternoon, and it did, so I didn't want to have to run the risk of having to walk in the rain. It's not so much of walking in the rain, but I do have to carry home my laptop and a few other, my phone and stuff like that, and so, you know, kind of the last thing I want to do is be stuck out in a rainstorm and get stuff drenched. I really haven't thought about it enough to, you know, consider whether I need to throw in a light jacket or something. The whole idea is to try to be as lightweight as possible when I walk to work. But you know, this time of year here in Colorado, the other challenge that we have is we often have late afternoon thunderstorms that come through, just simply because of the heat and such, and with the whole atmosphere that we sort of have here, and the cooler air up aloft, and the warmer air down below, and such. And so that's something that I just have to kind of keep an eye out for, and see how all that works out as far as my schedule goes. But I've quite enjoyed it. But Thursday and Friday being sort of doom and gloom as far as the weather was concerned, I think it sort of affected me somewhat emotionally as well. I just really felt tired. I felt ran down. And this morning, of course, I'm recording this on Saturday the 20th, and usually I'm up about 6 o'clock on Saturdays, which is, you know, that's sleeping in about an hour and a half or so even from my normal wake-up schedule. But I slept till almost 7:30 this morning, and quite honestly, it felt great. So I may even try to log another hour or so in my lazy boy later today, if time permits. Still kind of, even though the sun is shining and we've got blue skies, it is still cool outside. Of course, we've got snow in some of the shaded areas where the rain didn't necessarily wash it down and melt it, and of course we've got snow on the rooftop, which will probably melt pretty quick, I would say, today. But we did freeze last night, and I think all the plants and everything are going to be okay outside. We really, you know, the spring stuff, and I've talked about this before, the spring snow that we typically get in Colorado is a very thick. It's much like mashed potato consistency. It's not that light champagne fluffy powder that we get in the wintertime, and especially in the wintertime in the high country. This is a mashed potatoes kind of stuff. It's often, you know, when I was skiing before, I basically realized that my age was starting to keep up with me, and some old football injuries and stuff like that with my ankles and knees that I had experienced way back as a teenager was starting to catch up with me, and I basically had to stop skiing. But we basically would call this stuff ankle breaking snow, because it would, if you caught an edge either on your skis or your board, you were basically gonna go down. It was gonna take you down. Unlike the soft, fluffy champagne powder that, as long as you've got nice sharp edges on your skis and your board, and you're nicely waxed and everything, you're just going to glide right down without any problems. And if you get into deep stuff, you'll just pop in and pop right back out. But this stuff that's been falling, and of course some of our mountain communities like Estes Park, where my wife and I are going to go and spend about 5 days for our wedding anniversary coming up in July. It's our number 10. Very, very happy accomplishment for that. We're going to go up and spend about 5 days up in the mountains. They got 2 feet of snow. Actually, they got over 2 feet of snow. They got over 2 feet of snow, had down power lines, had due to tree branches and stuff falling. And so they got 2 feet of snow, and of course all that'll most likely, hopefully, be gone by the time we get up there for our anniversary stuff, which again is going to be in early July. But so, well, our harvest is done. Look at there, our harvest is done, and this field is done. Now, the reason why I say our harvest is done is because I really don't know if we're going to be able to harvest that small little field that we planted in soybeans. That really was just a test field to see if, by planting it on the very last day that, you know, the seasons mod tells us that we could actually plant it, if it would actually allow us to do that. And so that's kind of the purpose of it. I decided that it wasn't really worth, other than what I will do is I will obviously be fast forwarding out of this day and into the next day. So episode 61 will be taking place in late fall, late autumn. We are still playing 3 game days on this series, so it will be late autumn. And pending that we don't have snow, so that we can begin to move our harvest, move our grains and everything to the sell points, we will be using 2 tractors and 2 tippers to basically accomplish this and get that work done, and get it done before, certainly before the snow starts flying. And if I just sort of take a look at things, so all of our fields are harvested. Most of our fields have been turned around with oilseed radish. We will do that for field number 26 as well. Field number 30, as I said, if we can harvest it, I'll do that off camera, and I will bring you up to speed on what all this, how much yield we got out of it and everything, or whether or not we were even able to harvest it when we come back together for episode 61. But just to show you, we've got over 115,000 liters of wheat, 108,000 liters of barley, 87,000 liters and some change on canola, 62,000 liters, almost 63,000 liters of sunflowers, almost 200,000 liters of soybeans, and 118,000 liters of corn. So we've got quite the inventory of grains and stuff that we basically need to sell, and we will be selling that, like I said, in episode number 61, and then sort of recapping. So what I probably will do is, just to kind of keep things from being too boring, too monotonous or whatever, is I will most likely do most of the selling, do the majority of the selling and everything off camera, and then bring us together for episode 61, very, very near to the time frame when we're almost done with the selling, and that way we'll spend an episode of 20 or 30 minutes of our time together, maybe doing one or two sell runs that will sort of finish out the everything that's in the silos. We're not going to leave anything in the silos, or at least we don't expect to. For the new ownership, they basically want to start afresh, and so we want to honor their request for that. So we will be selling every single thing down, every dust particle that we can find. We will try to certainly get rid of that and get that sold, and of course that's going into our back pocket. And so yeah, so let me just park that there, and we will go ahead and disconnect our PTO shaft, because we've got to do that from outside of the cab with the manual attach mod. I really like that. I'm getting used to it. You know, it wasn't really something that it took me a little while to get used to, and but I think now that I've spent about 4 or 5 episodes with it, I think I quite like it quite a bit. And so, you know, something like a header, for example, you can still attach the header from inside the cab. That is one of the exceptions that you can do. And then, but basically, if you have if it's PTO driven, so like this header, for example, is PTO driven, obviously, you have to then basically connect that header from outside. So we will go ahead and just get our header positioned on our header trailer here. About like that's fine, I think. And we will lower it into position, and we will disconnect from inside the cab and back away from it, and that is pretty much done. So look at there. Alright, well, ladies and gentlemen, I am just going to start wrapping things up. We're coming up on 30 minutes, and we like to keep our episodes at about 30 minutes, and we'll start folding our combine up. This combine has worked out really well for us. I think it was the right decision to upgrade the combine to this class of combine, just simply because we did need a little bit more volume as far as the combine capacity, as well as the wider head has obviously helped us out. It sped things up a little bit. I certainly don't mind using the smaller headers and such like that, but you know, with as many fields as I wanted to try to harvest, which, you know, we upped our field count by a couple of fields. We bought a field, and then we actually leased 2 fields. So all that taken into consideration, I believe that it was a good investment to go ahead and upgrade that. So definitely consider that if you're playing this map. And let's just go ahead and teleport over to our JCB, and we'll start bringing this guy back into the main farm. But this really truly has been a wonderful, wonderful map. I don't know if you know, if I will find a map that will essentially take this map's place as far as how I think about it, what I think about it. I think that for Farm Sim 15, Obviously, I quite enjoyed Paradise Hills. That was the last map that I played, so obviously that's my most recent memory of that map. But I think my all-time favorite for Farm Sim 15 was Coleborough Park Farm. Really enjoyed it, and even though it's not an American map, it's a British map. It's one of the best British maps that I've seen for Farm Sim 15. Like I said, I quite enjoyed it. But I think because I played it so much in 15, I just never really got the hang of it, or I just really never felt that it was, it just really didn't capture that same spark with me in 17 that it did in 15. And so, but this map came along at the right time. And boy, I tell you what, I mean, from the first moment, and I think I said this in the last episode, that really from the first moment that I dropped the plow, I think we probably started plowing because we started playing this map with the Seasons mod, or very soon after we started playing it with the Seasons mod. I think that, I dropped the plow in the soil, and pretty much realized that this was a very special map, and Stussy or Stussy, however you pronounce that, has done a remarkable, outstanding job on this. And if you have not played it, again, I encourage you to do so. And it is sort of bittersweet because I know that once I stop talking and I click the stop recording button on my software, I realize that we've got one more episode of this beautiful map, and it's just been exceptional. It's really been exceptional, and I've had so much fun with it, and I'm sure that you will as well if you choose to play it. And I will just say this, that please, if you are new to my channel, please click the subscribe button. Also click the like button. That I appreciate, and that helps me out tremendously if you do that. And then please also return again for the very next episode of Lone Star, or the very last episode of Lawfolds, and then the brand new series will start on Thursday, June the 1st. So thank you all so much for watching. I'm really enjoying bringing you almost daily YouTube videos, and I appreciate your friendship. And I look forward to many more maps here on Farm Sim 17, and of course cattle and crops sometime, hopefully in June, when they let that cat out of the wheelbarrow. So fingers crossed that will happen. And of course, when we kick up the new episode, that's June. So hopefully cattle and crops will be soon to follow. So thank you all so much for watching from Denver, Colorado. Somewhat cool, chilly with snow on the ground in late May. I thank you so much for watching. God bless you all. Take care. Bye-bye.